Hello and welcome to Curzon Comments with me, your host, James Moss. I'd like to welcome my very special guest today, Annalieza Landa of Make Your Marque and the Grove Garden. Annalieza, welcome.
Hi, James. Thank you for inviting me on today. It's lovely to be here.
Well, it's great to be with you. And you, I understand, are up in Yorkshire at the moment. Is that right?
I am East Yorkshire. Yes. Yeah. Well, not just at the moment. I've lived here for 21 years now. I came back from London and yes, I put my roots back down because this is where I was born and brought up. So yeah, so I came back here.
Excellent. Well, it's a beautiful part of the world. I know it well from twisting my ankle, turning my ankle in the Yorkshire Dales a lifetime ago when doing outrageous things there.
Outrageous
Um,
things.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we need to have another podcast on
yes.
that.
And Yorkshire people are renowned for their lovely but very dry sense of humor. Is there any truth to that where you are?
I think yes, I do know people with a dry sense of humour. I don't actually have one myself. I've got a sense of humour, but it's not particularly dry.
Lovely, lovely. Well, Annalisa, just terrific to have you with us. So,
Thank you.
tell us, tell me, tell the audience a little bit more about Make Your Mark and the Grove Garden and what's going on there.
Okay, well, I set up Make Your Mark 9 years ago this year, about 6 or 7 months after joining the John Maxwell team, which is now known as the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. I wanted to make a difference in the workplace. I wanted to develop people. I wanted to develop people's potential, but I also wanted to um, cultivate better, more people centered, heart centered leaders based on my experience of leadership at work. So I went on a bit of a journey. That journey took me to overcoming my fear of public speaking. And as I kind of went on this journey and decided that I really did want to work on cultivating people. And I did a lot of work on my own values and areas that I needed to improve on as well. That led me to the Maxwell organization. And I knew immediately when I saw it that this was where I wanted to train in their values based leadership development. And also, they also provided training in coaching and speaking. So it ticked all of the boxes for me. I called my business Make Your Mark because legacy has always been really important to me ever since I was a child. I've always wanted to make my mark and to do something that was going to stand the test of time, even when I wasn't here anymore. And that took me to acting and performance when I was younger. And then that journey now has taken me to making my mark through others, through helping others to make their mark and realize their potential as well. So the name is very personal to me, but I decided to spell it slightly differently. And instead of Mark, M-A-R-K, take
Ah,
it from the French, M-A-R-Q-U-E, for name or brand, which has become synonymous with high performance prestige cars. You know, we talk about the mark, of the car, the badge.
yes. Well, I was just thinking of like Aston Martin there, and quality and so on. That's
Well,
great.
exactly. That little bit of wow factor, that little bit of going the extra mile of enlarging people. You see it, you think, wow, you stand next to it, you feel bigger, as leaders should do for the people around them. And so I saw a kind of a metaphor there. But also, it's from the French for name or brand. And that was very fitting as well, because we tend to think of branding as being the logo. We tend to think of it as being the name of the organization. But actually, it isn't. It's about how we feel when we see that name, when we see that logo, when we hear that name. It's about reputation. And I realized that anyone can leave a mark. It can be a good mark, it can be a black mark, it can be a stain. but only I can make our mark, our MARQUE. That is our brand, our individual brand. How people feel when they hear our name, how people feel because of the way that we make other people feel. And I just want to read something out to you here, which I think was just so apposite. It's actually a quote in John's book, actually, Developing the Leader Within You too, which I'm going to be
Oh,
starting in the
yeah,
Growth Garden in a couple of weeks' time. So we're going to be doing this every second Monday
right.
in the Growth Garden. But this quote by author and educator J.R. Miller said, "There have been meetings for only a moment which have left impressions for life, for eternity. No one of us can understand that mysterious thing we call influence. Yet out of every one of us, continually, virtue goes either to heal, to bless, to leave marks of beauty, or to wound, to hurt, to poison, to stain other lives." And I think that was just so appropriate, I think, when we think about leadership today. And it makes me just want to really just beat the drum for
You
good
know,
leadership
that
even
is
more.
that
Yeah.
is that's lovely. That's actually some of the most beautiful language I've come across from a sort of business perspective in terms of business leadership and business gurus. Uh,
Yes.
and I used to, very, very close person to me was a guy called Charles Handy, who was the founder of the London Business School.
Right.
And it just happened he was my godfather, which was great news for me. I'm not sure, brilliant for
Oh,
him.
wow.
And
That's amazing.
yeah, we became very, very close. Um, but what was interesting was what you're saying about leadership. And you and Charles actually would have been very much on the same page, I think, because leadership is something of great beauty. It's also involves some enormously uh, developed characteristics, some of which you either have internally or that you can, I guess, you can learn, you can be taught. Um, So, I mean, tell me a little bit about that with the growth garden, because I believe you sort of have a certain set of values and virtues and ethics that come out of this. Would that be right?
Yeah. I mean, the growth garden is, I think, ultimately what I'm trying to do with it is to create a safe and all welcoming space for people to grow and to flourish. So, bringing everything that I do in leadership and personal growth into a community that is united in the philosophy that we grow fastest, yeah, when we're growing together, and we grow best when we're growing others. That our, we grow better as people if we are thinking not just of ourselves, but we have others in mind as well. And that's so it's got a community ethos there. Also draws from the community, the ethos of George Bernard Shaw too, in the things that bring us joy in life, which is about reaching out for the world and carrying a torch for others and giving people hope. And again, learning for not just ourselves, but learning to take other people alongside us and to reach out a hand and take somebody up behind us when we're going through doors of opportunity. So that his words form the community ethos and the values, I think, particularly of respect, respecting one another, of dignity, of growth, of service, and supporting one another's growth, I think is really important.
Yes,
So
this is great. This is great.
yeah, so
So,
it's
yeah,
that spirit and that culture from the get-go, really, and that's what I've tried to really build into the fabric of the growth garden, so that people have from the start the tools with which to see value in others and also acknowledge it.
So this is really great stuff because this affects everyone individually. It's learning individually. It's also a community thing. Learning and giving back to the community, I would imagine, is a big part of
Yeah.
the sort of holistic circle
Yes.
that may be going on here. Um, so
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more how you do it and who you do it with. Are you coaching people? Is this the idea? Is it a sort of if I want guidance and I want my handheld, which I frequently feel like I do,
We all do.
there's no one there.
I think we all need somebody to hold our hand and to guide us.
so
Yeah, they
so
do say every coach needs a coach.
so I could come to you, or any of our audience could come to you and sort of get nurtured and encouraged and
Yes.
guide.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
the way it works? Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of slightly tongue in cheek. I call myself the head gardener. Um,
Lovely.
yeah, a cultivator of people, and a landscaper of visions. So helping people to build their their mission or their vision, their dream or their ambition on solid foundations, really solid foundations, solid values foundations, the foundations of good character that are going to serve them well. And then as a coach, helping them to see that vision to fruition as well. So it is about it's about cultivation. And I tried, as you can see with the imagery behind me, to it's very difficult online, but how could I achieve that feel, that visceral feel of being in a garden, of growing, of being nurtured, of planting and blooming and blossoming and flourishing? And I've worked very, very hard on trying to get that physical feel online of doing that. So when people come in, they will have backgrounds that they can download, and there's going to be a weekly welcome party. So for new members to come in and for existing members to greet them. And I'll be encouraging them to put these backgrounds on. There are different colors, different floral arrangements, and we're just going to cover Zoom in blooms and just have a whole wall of a wall of flowers, and to feel that we're part of something a little bit different and a little bit special. Yeah.
Well, it's a great combination because wellness is a very major subject and topic in certainly in the business world at the moment. And we see this in the work that we do with the clients we work with, and it's becoming increasingly more important. You mentioned a couple of really interesting uh, sort of bullet points there, if you like. So, uh, character, honesty. Tell me a bit more about the sort of core base there that you're working from. I'm sure that would be fascinating.
Yeah, oh, thanks, James. So I kind of talk about the inner compass a lot. It's not really a new concept. It's not certainly my own concept. I think lots of people who in this space have talked about the compass, the values compass, the leadership compass. And yet we all seem to take slightly different approaches to it, which is really interesting. So for me, that compass that I talk about and what is really important, I think there are lots of things. I know that we're short on time. There's so many things I could talk about, but I think in terms of the growth garden, it's helping people to understand that they don't have to have a title or a position or to be given permission to be a leader. That leading is a skill that is going to stand them in good stead throughout their lives. It's about influence. It's about buy-in, getting people to buy into their vision, see their vision, support their vision. But we tend to get blindsided in our culture by charisma. We tend to get blindsided by celebrity. We tend to think that people who have this innate magnetism may be born with it, are leaders because they are magnetic and they have these magnetic personalities and oodles of charisma. Charisma might get you through the door. It might win you followers, but without character, it's paper thin. It's not going to sustain your career. It's not going to sustain your reputation. You have to work on your character alongside all of your other talents, alongside all of the things that you are good at, your vocation, your degree. Keep working on your character. It's the one thing that the advice that I would give myself, if I could, give my younger self advice, would be to work on your weaknesses, the habits that let you down. Keep working, keep growing on your character, your reputation, because that goes before you. People learn about it, people know about it, and you need that in leadership. You need that to sustain you. We see very, very talented leaders. You might be exceptional at reading the markets. You might have a great intuition for the markets, or for innovation, or for strategy, or for operations. Again, character, values, virtues, ethics. These are the 4 points of my leadership compass. These are going to be the foundations on which you build everything else. They complement everything else. So it's not that the kind of values, the leadership that I teach, which is values-based leadership, people-centered leadership, helping to equip people to develop their own potential, to give them the tools that they need for the job, to develop them as leaders, to raise successors, which is really important in an organization, and successors, again, that have those values that are going to, again, sustain the organization, so that when you go, you're not replaced by somebody who is maybe a little bit ruthless, who has talent and energy, but doesn't have enough integrity and can put the organization at risk, damage its reputation, expose it to litigation. You need to be thinking about this all the time, and thinking about measuring really your decisions against those values. So it's values and virtues, because they don't equate. So you've got the virtues, you mentioned honesty there. Honesty is a virtue. Kindness is a virtue, empathy, compassion. Those values that have an impact on others, a positive impact on others, are virtues. You can value, trying to think of one of mine, autonomy is really important to me, self-governance. That isn't a virtue, but it is a value. So you've got values and virtues. They work in harmony with each other. You need both. Ethics, of course, really important, making sure that you make decisions that are ethical for the company, ethical for the planet, that aren't going to expose you to risk, or to the ruination of your career, even the ruination of your relationships. And we just see it time and time again. And you wonder what on earth goes through their minds. People who have spent decades working towards getting to the height of their success in leadership. And in a day, the newspaper gets hold of some scandal, something that they've done, and it's gone overnight. And it impacts everybody, your partner, your children, the people in the organization. So maintaining character, fundamentally important, building on that and making sure that that underpins everything else that you do in your career and in your organization and in your life. You don't need to be leading an organization. It can be just whatever it is that you're working on and you want to do. Make sure that you always work as well on your personal growth. Be teachable, be coachable, be open to learning. Never think you know it all. There's always something else to learn. And always examine, maybe replay at the end of the day. What went well today? What didn't go well today? Why did that interaction go better than expected? Why was that interaction worse than expected? Do a little bit of an evaluation, and that way you'll learn. And we don't automatically learn by experience. We only learn when we take the time to reflect on it and evaluate it and think about how differently we might do something next time. So the growth garden, going back to your original question, yes, it does provide coaching. I've created a growth catalyst kit, which is completely free of charge, which gives people a sample of everything that I do in the growth garden for nothing. So yes, it mentions, it's got the company ethos so that they know the spirit, they know what we stand for, they know the culture that they're coming into straight away. But also they have I've created some praise petals, which are digital cards that they can sign and give out to the people around them. So there are praise petals for inside the community, for when we're on mastermind calls or group coaching calls or events. And there are also those that I've gifted them to give outside of the community as well, and to encourage them to think about acknowledging people for the value that they bring when they actually do bring it.
Wow.
And they can sign up, as I say, to free masterminds. So the 4 core masterminds that I'm going to be doing, they get the first one free to see if they like it, whether it's for them or not, before they actually have to commit to paying for anything. My coaching is there. If they want the coaching, they want to invest in it, they can buy it from within the community, but they don't have to. They will get a one-to-one free with me for 20 minutes when they come in as a meet and greet that they can book, so that I can get them on the right track, find out what it is that they specifically want, and show them and tell them how the growth garden can help them. It might be that there's something there already. It might be that there's something dropping that I can tell them, look out for this, because this is going to be really relevant to your goals, and you need to sign up for it when it arrives. There's a free challenge for them to do, so they can get the 7-day challenge experience, which is all about good vibes. It's a fun challenge. It's about giving up the noise, giving up the distractions that affect our mental health, so that at the end of the 7 days, they will have reset their mental wealth. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, there's as I say, everything there. They can sample an event, sample the challenge, sample the coaching, sample everything. I think I called it 12 power tools. 12 power tools to get them going straight away,
Tools,
that
right?
they don't have to pay for.
Annalieza, this is really fantastic. I mean, you and I have done a few things together over the last couple of years, and I've got to say, it's always been absolutely brilliant. You're incredibly insightful, um, very very charismatic, of course. But what I like, so it sort of goes back to character, and that is so important, and that is something that you've really stressed so far during this little chat we're having, which is absolutely terrific. So if someone wants to find you, where do they go? What's the best place to find you?
Well, the business facing website is makeyourmarque.co, as I say, MARQUE. But the community is here, and I would love to see people to come and join the community. It's free right now. I'm in beta, so basically, while I'm testing it out, getting feedback, what's working, what isn't working, what needs to be refined a little bit. People who join now will be helping me on that journey. I've raised a code which I'm having problems with at the moment, so I'm having to go back to support at NAS.io, the platform, because to reward people for supporting me, for investing in their growth, for also believing in me and putting their faith in me to grow them as well, I wanted to give them a code for 10% off everything forever. And there's a bug in the system that every time I raise this code, it's attaching one of my products to it. And ironically, right now, it's attaching a free product to it. It's free anyway. But the annoying thing is, I can't edit it. I can't delete it. I have no autonomy over this code at all. None of us do. We can't go into edit or delete them. And this is, I was told, something to do with preserving the integrity of the tracking. And I'm saying to them, yes, but how can you track something that hasn't been redeemed yet? How can you track something that hasn't been made active yet. We should have autonomy to be able to edit and delete things that haven't actually been used. I get it for the things that have, but the things that are inactive or that haven't been actually made active, I don't see the sense in that at all. But yeah, there will be that code. It's worked before, and now suddenly it isn't working again.
Ah,
But I'm working on that with support. That's out of my hands, unfortunately. But that's something that I did want to gift people to say thank you. So there's no risk. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything to join it, and you just don't know what could spark out of being a part of it. Yeah, it's going to be. I see a vision for a great community, and I think together we can do an awful lot of good for this planet. Yeah, we'll learn how to lead better, and lead well for others, and it's going to propagate and spread lots of seeds of goodness all over the world.
well, that's something that the world is a bit short of right now, actually. And I think you're absolutely in the right place at the
Oh,
right
you
time.
froze for a minute.
So speaking,
Your picture froze.
yes, well, we try, yeah, we're sort of apolitical here, but and also an economist by training and a degree in economics. And yes, it is quite a what can I say? I can't find the right word. I want to say vortex. I want to say merry-go-round. I mean, there are all sorts of analogies and metaphors you could use, but the world is very fast-trading and changing rather, and it's great that you can take something like character and charisma and put that in some sort of context with ethics and the wellness of goodness, not just for the individual community, but for the world. Some people will probably say, "Oh, that sounds a bit woke," but actually, it's not. I mean, you drill down on certain things, and it's terribly, terribly important. I mean, to us, and to the next generations to come.
I think what
So,
people don't realize, James, is that you just mentioned wellness as well. It's something that I try to impress on leaders that it
yeah.
carries through to the health and wellness of the organization. And we don't realize how much stress we bring about ourselves by making wrong decisions, by taking wrong turns, and the impact that that has on our physical health and our mental health. And of course, in the organization, I see it as being very much a part of the health and wellness strategy of the organization
Yeah,
because
yeah.
ultimately it's going to result in people who are happier and thriving, and that is going to directly affect the bottom line. If you're not fighting conflict all the time, if you're not, I'll ask
So
you a question, James.
yeah, so let's yes, if you'd like to ask me or anything, I'm very receptive.
Yeah, just about, I suppose, yeah, your values and your own drivers. What would you say is has been the biggest driver for you in terms of your values, in your success and in your leadership?
Well, it's a great question, actually. I love that question because it's remarkably similar to sort of your world and the way that you help people and organizations. And I've always had a mantra for actually quite some time of 5 points, which started in England and I've brought over to America with me, and I keep hopping backwards and forwards, so these sort of go everywhere. So the first one is to seek perfection of character, and that sounds like a very grand statement, but it's the little things you do every day to try and again picking up on your character to make yourself, if you like, a better person, but not just for yourself, for others. Um, the second one is to be faithful, to be honest with others and yourself, and to stick to your values. And I think that's incredibly important. Um, my third one is endeavor, to work hard,
Yeah.
to not give up, with perseverance. And endeavoring, I think, is a very important thing. We all, the road is not straight. There are many bumps and hills and trenches and all sorts of things, but
Yeah.
endeavoring, I think, is a very, very important point. Respecting others is hugely important, and I think
Mm.
one has to respect others, be they good people, bad people. Um, Sometimes life throws some real, what the Americans call curveballs. I love that expression because we can always
Yes.
envisage what that is.
Yeah.
Um, but I think respecting others is really important. And if you think of people, you don't want to disrespect people. If someone disrespects you, which I'm sure seldom happens, but it does happen in life. It's a real negative. So I'm very much glass half full type of person. I like look for the good in people, and I
Yeah.
believe in the good in people, and so that's a really important one. And my last one is really more of a business one, and that is I always put clients and customers first in whatever I do throughout my 25, 30 years, whatever it is, in business. Um, it's that service, that delivery, customer satisfaction has always been like my benchmark, and I try and nurture that within my own business and my own people who I work with and work with me. And accordingly, I believe in very flat organizations. I
Yeah.
don't believe in hierarchy. I believe in everyone working together, but customers and clients always come first.
Yeah. I love that. What you just said about hierarchy. Yeah. Don't believe in hierarchy. Everybody working together. Yeah. Yeah. You need
So,
somebody to steer the ship. You need somebody to be able to take control. You do need somebody, yeah, you do need somebody there. But I think generally speaking, yes, it's
so, Annalieza, this has been a wonderful conversation we've been having. So let me ask you something completely sort of out of the blue, and a little bit different. Um, so just tell me, could you name one sort of crazy little thing about you that no one else knows, but that our audience would love to hear?
crazy little thing about me that nobody else knows. Um,
Well, almost everyone else
almost nobody else
knows.
knows. I really racked my brains here to think about something crazy. I love the,
A little bit crazy, a little bit crazy.
a little bit crazy.
Doesn't have
Um,
to be too crazy.
as you know, I used to be an actor, okay? Many, 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 many years ago. And like most graduate actors, I cut my TV teeth, although to be honest with you, I didn't really do an awful lot of television, but it was just one way to get work was to do background work, extra work. And because I was in Birmingham and very close to Central Television, we used to get quite a bit of work from Central TV. And they had it was B Sky B actually that was using the studio. So before it was even Sky as we know it now, just Sky. You may remember, James. Some of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
viewers may
yeah,
not,
yeah. I remember that. I
but
remember all
B
that.
Sky
Yeah,
B,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And they had a soap opera. So they filmed it. I think it was jointly with Central. They filmed it at Central Studios, and it was called Jupiter Moon. And honestly, it was quite hilarious because the scenery really did wobble. It was like I don't know. It was like it was just made of cardboard. And it was a real education into what it was like to work in TV. I think it was one of the first things that I worked on when I left drama school. And yeah, and one day the actress who had been playing the hamster woman from outer space was sick or something, and so I had to stand in for her. But all they wanted was my hand. All they had wanted was my hand on the console. And I must have waited around probably about 7 hours to shoot this shot. And I remember thinking, and I'm being really excited because it wasn't just doing the normal background work, but oh gosh, today I'm going to be playing the hamster woman from outer space. even if all they want is my hand.
That is
So
fantastic.
I
That's
never actually got to see the actual finish, like the program, the show, because I didn't subscribe to BCIB. But yeah, it was just a close up of my hand on a console, and I'm guessing I think she was sabotaging the ship, so it would be kind of like that kind of music in the background, kind of Jaws
that
music. Yeah.
that
So
is
that's one crazy thing that yeah, I
that's
very few people know.
delightful. Absolutely delightful. Hamster to hand
The
to
hamster woman.
this is what all superstars go through at some stage or another. Is that right?
Yeah, but I never actually reached that. I never actually reached that level though, James. But maybe I'm still on my way.
It's absolutely terrific.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I think we're gonna have to wrap up a bit here. So this is James Moss at Curzon Comments with Annalieza Landa of the Grove Garden. And Annalieza, it's just been absolutely fabulous having you with us here today. Thank you so much. I very much look forward to our next encounter. If anyone would like to get in touch with Annalieza, please go to nas.io/the hyphen growth hyphen garden. I'm sure we can find it on Google. I can highly recommend Annalieza. I love working with her, and I very
Thank you,
much look
James.
forward to doing things ahead.
Oh,
Okay,
that's lovely. Thank you so much.
have a great day. Take
It's
care.
been fab. Bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.